Hello, good people. It's me, Kumanawa, your money manager. Do I buy or build? Have you asked yourself this question? I guess so. I believe that this question really is very personal and it really depends on your personal preferences whether you want to buy or build. However, I believe that you need to sit down and do an assessment, look at the pros and cons of building and buying and make a decision from there. But really, what are the advantages of buying and what are the disadvantages of buying? When we look into buying, you are getting into a structure that is already completed. So in terms of time, it is not time consuming because you're getting the structure is ready for occupancy. As soon as the payment has been made, you can move into the property. There is no waiting period. And even in terms of getting financing, it's quite easy to get financing for buying a structure that has already been completed. But what are really the disadvantages? The disadvantages to me is that you are buying a completed structure. So you've got no saying or you've got no input in terms of this structure. So you're just buying what somebody else has put up and you just have to accept it. And sometimes you realize that you're buying somebody else's problem. Maybe the structure has got structural defects and somebody is trying to run away from that. So you're going to inherit that. You're buying that problem. So I normally say that when you decide to buy, make sure that you get a structural engineer to check the structural soundness of the structure that you are buying. When we look into building, what really are the advantages of building? For me, building is like you're fully involved in the process. You've got an opportunity to put something that is truly you, something that reflects your ideal home. So you get to do the planning, you get to do everything, and you're going to put this structure that is for you and that was decided by you. I think also when it comes to pricing, building is cheaper than buying because more especially if you do already have land that you've been allocated for free. So building is cheaper than buying comparing when it comes to the monetary value. But what are the disadvantages of building? Building is time consuming. We need to be honest about it. And you have to be willing really to commit your time towards building, having to deal with the contractors, having to supervise, having to make sure that everything is done accordingly, having to deal with like everybody who's involved in the process. That can be time consuming. And a lot of people really do not have the time to go through all this. Then the other disadvantage is that, yes, in terms of obtaining the loan for building, I think the requirements for building are quite onerous compared to when you buy a structure that is already completed. But it's doable. I mean, like if you're like me, you like building things from scratch, building will be more appealing to you. Personally, I have gone through building. I've never bought a completed structure. All the structures or the properties that I own, I have built them from scratch. So let me walk you through the building requirements so you can really assess for yourself whether it's something that you can go through or you just pass. So the first thing that you need to provide is the proof of ownership. Land ownership. This proof of ownership, what financiers do require is title deed. So if you have a lease for your land, then you need to convert that into a title deed. The second thing that you need to provide is approved plans and the building permit. So for you to get all this, obviously you engage professionals, you engage an architect, and also you will have to deal with the council building and fiscal planning office, who are responsible for approving the drawings and also issuing you with the building permit. So the third thing that you have to provide is you need to obtain 3 quotations from 3 different companies, not just any company, but reputable companies. You also make sure that the quotations are also accompanied by the company profiles together with a portfolio of evidence for those companies, the properties that they have completed. So that's number 3. Number 4, you need to provide a bill of quantities, and the bill of quantities is to be done by an approved quantity surveyor. You don't just get anybody to do it for you. The fifth thing that you need to provide is the soil test, and the soil test should be provided by an engineer. Yes, like I said, everything you're going to be dealing with the professionals. So for the professionals that you are dealing with, your quantity surveyor together with your engineer, you need to also make sure that they provide you with their certificate of practice together with professional indemnity insurance cover. This is for your protection, right? In case there are some errors in their reports and whatnot, you need to make sure that you're covered. Once you've really provided all these professional things, you now need to provide your normal know your customer documentation, which will come in the form of your payslip, your latest payslip. You need to provide your identification documentation. You need to provide your proof of residence. You also need to provide a valuation report for the plans. So the plans are going to be valued before you can be approved for a loan. Once you've provided all these requirements, the bank or your financier will do their own assessment to determine if you are good really for the loan that you are looking for. And once you've been given a green light, one company is going to be selected from the 3 companies that you have provided, and that company that is selected, they need to provide an all-risk insurance cover before the construction can commence. So the way the construction is going to be done is it's going to be done in stages, and your contractor is also going to be paid in stages. So every stage your council is going to come and do an inspection and issue an approval report, and it's that approval report that is going to allow your contractor to claim payment from the bank. Without that, payment will never be made. So you do that until the entire structure is completed. And the last piece of approval that you are going to be issued with by your council is what is called certificate of occupancy. Well, certificate of occupancy, now your contractor can claim the final payment from the bank, and the whole structure will now be completed, and the council is certifying that indeed the structure is completed and you can move in and occupy it. Over and above this, before really anything is done, it is also a requirement to make sure that you've got water supply. Electricity, I think it's not so strict on it, but water supply is a requirement. Yeah, it's a requirement by most banks. So once the structure has been completed, you're going to go back again and do a valuation report now of the completed structure. So your bank is going to guide you in terms of who to use to do the valuation report, because normally they will give you an approved list of valuers that you can select from to do the valuation report. Over and above the valuation report, you're also going to provide a loan protection insurance. You can get what is called a credit life cover, or if you already have a life cover, you can use that life cover to protect your loan. Over and above the life cover, you also need to provide another form of insurance. This one is a short-term insurance. It's called homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance is used to protect the actual property itself together with the contents of the property. So this insurance cover it provides cover against damage to your property. Damage could be due to natural disasters. Damage could be due to theft, or really anything that is included in that cover, and also damage to the contents of your household. So these are really the requirements that you have to go through. I think there are many, as you can see, there are really quite many, and this is what is deterring a lot of people from going the building route, because they just feel that there's so many things that are required. But when you look at these things, this is just really paperwork, and it's things that could be done. Yes, for some things, more especially when you involve the professionals, you're gonna have to pay money, because for you to get the plans, you're gonna have to pay your architect, you're gonna have to pay your quantity surveyor for your bill of quantities, you're gonna have to pay for the soil test report, you're gonna have to pay for your valuation reports. But all in all, you find that still you're going to come out like at a cheaper cost compared to when you were buying a computer structure. This is all that I wanted to share with you so you can evaluate whether building is for you, whether you really do have the time to go through all these and just build the structure that you want for yourself. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave me a like and comment, and I will see you in another video. Thank you very much for watching.